So two things. I'm not sure if you knew this, but I think it's March 27th. The Wii U and the 3DS stores are done. Like the servers are being shut off.
Yep, I
So,
did hear about that.
which is very saddening. So the YouTuber, the Completionist, I watched his videos like here and there, pretty good. He bought every game possible, which and spent more than $22,000, and this pisses me off because if the servers are going down, like why can't you just penny out the games? You know, you, these companies they know their games are still on there. They know the servers are being shut off. Like just either make it free or penny it out. No one's gonna buy a 3DS or a Wii U thinking, you know what, I'm gonna buy 0 games and then just wait for it to for the end of life cycle for it all to go free. Like no one's gonna do that. So I don't understand what the problem is here. Why don't these companies just like make each game a 1 cent each or or $1? I just don't get it.
It's probably the nickel and dime people on the way out and thinking that the panic is going to drive up the
Right.
want
That's
for revenue.
uh, I like yeah, I mean that's like the only way I could logically see why they do it, but still it's
I
upsetting.
don't agree with it. I mean,
Uh
I mean, I get it. It costs time and resources to keep servers running, and I believe me, I understand that. But when it comes to being able to, dip back into the past and play the games of yesteryear, I don't like this approach. This I never really agreed with being able to have things that are like exclusive to a console, and then the means to acquire them goes down. So unless you have those, they're basically lost forever.
right. It's a shame cuz some like indie games will go away like just um or one of my favorites like Smash Bros for Smash Bros 4. That was I love that game on the 3DS. I had so much fun I couldn't even explain it to you. But like now I think it's so hypocritical because then they get upset when people modify their consoles to get these games and it's like, oh, you're breaking the terms of service, blah 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 blah. It's like, well, you took away the servers, so what do you want me to do? Like, all
Hmm.
right, screw me, I guess, right? Like, no, come on, give me a break.
And
Just
it's silly. It's so silly at this point because people are going to go against this. It's a given. There's people that basically make their whole livelihood off of jailbreaking these consoles and then turning around and offering them to people so that they have a way to experience this without having to either A, bend over backwards to that company's tune, or B, have it so that they don't have to worry about those games going away when they decide to pull the plug on the servers. Like, where's the middle ground?
right. And I don't blame those people either, especially in this kind of situation. Like,
No, I wouldn't blame them either.
if there's no other way to acquire these games, by all means, you should go that route. In fact, I still kick myself over not having like a modded 3DS with a capture card in it. I thought it was so cool. I wanted one when I was younger, but I was like deathly afraid of like mailing it to like Japan for them to do the magic that is adding a capture card. Um, but like I still want. I might get one if the price is right. But either way, like in this case, if you can't sell if you're turning off the servers, Nintendo's doing it for whatever reason, then just penny out the games, make it 1 cent each, or make it free. I don't think that's actually hurting anyone. And so making it free, it comes out to the game companies providing the game. So that's one area, right? But
Mm.
um, I don't think it. But I just feel like I don't know. If I was a game company, Goons Games Gear Incorporated, if I knew the server was shutting down, I personally would be like, you know what, let's just make it free, guys. Like, you know,
Just here, grab them while you
I
can.
like I doubt anyone. It would be, or how to put it.
Because I feel like at this point you would have already made the money that you're going to make off of initial sales and whatnot. And so
Right.
once you finally circle around to this point, it's like, all right, well these servers are going. I mean, it is what it is. Just
It's
here, have it.
especially for games that are purely digital. Like I get so conflicted on whether I want to buy a game digitally or physically for a console. I only started recently just collecting games physically for the Switch because I'm afraid for the games that I truly love that digitally they'll either A rip the licensing agreement up and then not let me play the game anymore somehow if that's possible, or just not be able to
Hmm.
provide the game through the digital storefront. So at least with you have the card, you can at least go back to, or in the Switch in case the cartridge, you can at least go
Yeah,
back
you can
to
at
it.
least go back to it.
Right. So it's just such a stupid situation that's completely avoidable from both Nintendo and I guess the game companies. But with Nintendo's case, I mean, they have the means and the money to keep these servers up, but they just don't want to anymore. Which I would see. Okay, actually, I didn't think about this, and now I'm pissed off again. I would understand that if their current system didn't suck with online, but it does. It is terrible. The UI, they are dinosaurs compared to PlayStation and Xbox or any
They
other
still
store.
haven't been able to figure this out years
Right.
later.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
it blows my mind that there's modern Nintendo games that I can't queue up with you and then we go matchmaking. How in Smash Ultimate I can't invite you to be in my like lobby and then we play doubles online together versus randoms. How that's not possible is beyond me. How they haven't figured that out yet. I'm sorry. The only game they have is for Mario Super Strikers or the soccer game. That's the only game they've done it for. But every other game, for some reason, Nintendo just can't have it for some dumb reason. Their servers suck. Only since like I think it might have been last year, whenever Monster Hunter Rise was implemented, they finally implemented rollback netcode. Finally, it only took them 20 years to get that going. It's just like, how are they so behind with all things online? I don't get it. Why do they hate? Or not like they hate. They just don't want to invest in technology for internet. Which I'm getting a headache. Hold on, I'm getting annoyed. It just hurts my soul because I could have so much more fun if I could just play with my friends against random people. That's like that's part of the fun of modern gaming now, is that like being able to play with friends and then play with strangers. Like 360 Halo had that. Like old consoles had it. We're in 2023 and Nintendo still can't get their shit together. How is that possible?
No, it's something that has to do with just them being rooted in the past for some reason. Because I know with as far as some Japanese companies, and not even just gaming companies in general, they have a thing of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and they subscribe to that from what I've read and understood pretty heavily. So with Japan being such a dense population area with so many people packed into a tight space, being able to do peer to peer and whatnot, and having that connectivity, and even why like something like Street Pass on the 3DS and whatnot was huge over there because of it. Because you literally couldn't go 3 steps without street passing someone.
I love Street Pass. That was like one of the greatest
But
innovations
when it comes
I've ever
down
seen.
to it was
I
phenomenal,
loved it.
really.
Right.
And if you ever went to like somewhere dense, or you went to like
A
conventions or
convention?
anything like that, like just
Yeah. It
constantly
was
getting street
awesome.
passes.
Right,
But they tend to stay mired in what they're used to, because why would we do anything different if that's the case? And it's still doing how it is.
I know, and I
And I
hate
remember
that.
the fighting game, even the fighting game community to this day, similarly, is still fighting for most games to be rolled out with rollback netcode versus peer to peer,
Right.
because it's just it. Look, guys, the technology's there. Capitalize it. I guarantee you'll have a lot more happy customers than you will mad customers, because this is just getting ridiculous at this point.
Right, like we have the technology. It's like people are quitting games because it's not optimized well, especially with fighting games. Like people like there's a completely different feeling between playing locally versus online because there's lag. Versus at least rollback tries to compensate and help with it, you know. But I guess that's a totally different situation. To bring it back though, what he said about being stuck in the past. You know what? Be stuck in the past all you want, but we live in today's world. And in today's world, I get to queue up with friends, and I don't have to. And my storefront UI doesn't slow the switch to a halting, like just stop. And how the Switch doesn't have a party system, and how the Switch still uses stupid friend code, like the most. Oh my god. Is beyond
Why
me.
is it not as easy as a couple of button presses instead of having to put in a whole code? Why are we still doing this?
Right.
We were doing this when the DS was still around. Why are we still doing this now?
Like it made sense on the DS. I could understand that, but like, all right, you're on the Switch now. There has to be a better way. And their like party system thought was, oh, we'll just make it so you have to use your phone. I don't want to use my phone to talk to my friends with annoying earbuds all day. That's stupid. And you didn't give me games to do that with. So why did you even? Anyway, I am terrified of how strong the next Switch is, because if it's not powerful enough to like handle Discord in the background while I play games, it's just not gonna be strong enough for the years to come. That's now the bare minimum. It needs to be able to handle background processing better. It has to. It like you can't do anything on the back end when you play games on the Switch. You just if you have a game in sleep mode while you're on the store, good luck. The store won't work. It'll
literally unplayable.
Yeah, literally unplayable. So like I that's why I'm optimistic but very scared for its future, because it could easily still be super underpowered. And I know that they're all about like the gimmick, and I get that, but to some
that's
degree,
exactly where I was about to go with this too. Because if there's one thing you know a Nintendo console for, it's its gimmick. Don't worry about that. Forget everything else.
I'm done with gimmicks. I don't like the Joy-Cons. Cool, like
literally,
cool.
Give me something that works.
Right. Just give me something that works. It's not that difficult anymore. We don't need super intense gimmicks anymore. I think you finally hit the nail on the head with the Switch. Keep making stronger ones. I don't care, but I don't need like 3D mode or VR. When they tried VR with Labo, that was so stupid.
I can't believe they charge people obscene amounts of money for cardboard cutouts. I literally could not believe it.
And then like the VR mode in games was just like the most abysmal thing of demand. It's just like you just got like a wider angle to look at, and like, this is terrible. I'm just like, what? Why did I build this? This is stupid. I could just put my face on the screen. Like, what? Yeah, so I don't know. I just back to the whole games though, like all these games not being able to be purchased. I hope for the best in terms of like it for the Switch. Like, I hope we don't have the same situation. I'm sure we will though, especially because there's all that shovelware. But the fact I just don't think he should have had to pay $22,000 plus to get all these games for Nintendo.
Well, there isn't a bad thing to come out of this though. It looks like reading here, the completed project, which is worth about 3 external hard drives and a 3DS with 4 micro SD cards.
Yeah.
Every single bit of that will be donated to the Video Game History Foundation to preserve the digital offerings that will otherwise cease to exist.
See, that's awesome. That's that's a great way to go about it.
That is history being preserved. That is awesome. Good on the Completionist for that. Why, as the consumer, am I not allowed to have that option anymore?
Right? Like, it's just it's I don't know. Nintendo weird. But
they've always been weird about this kind of stuff.
To be fair though, I think Xbox and PlayStation would be the exact same, or I think that's what they did with their previous consoles. But at least they're more backwards compatible friendly. Like the Series X, you can play all the way back to the original Xbox games. They ported over every game. They literally went out of their way to make games backwards compatible and give them frame rate boosts, which is crazy to me. The PlayStation, they tried with the PS3, but they made that way too difficult, so you can only stream PS3 games basically. But
yeah, the streaming service is not the best for it, but at least Sony made the effort. Why couldn't you, Nintendo?
Right, exactly. I don't know. Like, Nintendo is they make such great games, but they're just so far behind in terms of like the socially acceptable answer to things. So, but I guess they don't care. I don't know. Of all of them, I would think Nintendo cares the most about their like the preservation of their products and stuff. But I don't know, man. It's dark times we live in.
Yeah, I don't think that preservation has been on their forefront for quite some time, if I'm being completely honest with you.
You mean more money? No, preservation.
Money.
Money. Ah, money. I love it.